Welcome again to the Old Principle. This is lesson number 123. Free at last. Free, of course, is 有自由. At last means 终于获得 or 终获. Okay, free at last, number 123, and we need a storyteller. So here she is.
That's me.
That's you. And there's the script. There you go.
Today's story comes from 28 years ago.
2,800 years.
Oh, dear. The Christian Bible records the story and archaeology confirms it. Hezekiah was a king of the little Palestinian country of Judah, and like all people of that time, he wanted freedom from the Assyrian Empire. Assyria's capital lay 400 miles north of Judah. Assyria's king died in a battle with Babylon, and Hezekiah hoped that his son would be weak. So he rebelled against Assyria and stopped sending the required yearly tax. To test how strong his army was, Hezekiah also went to war with a little neighboring country. It was a short war, and Hezekiah returned victorious. Hezekiah was feeling confident. But Sennacherib, the new king of Assyria, became one of its most powerful kings. In one of his first campaigns, he led his monstrous army south toward Judah and its capital, Jerusalem. He destroyed every nation in his path, leaving Judah with no outside help. He intended to force Hezekiah to pay the tax again. And if Hezekiah would not pay the tax, he would replace him with another king who would, or destroy Jerusalem altogether. Hezekiah had been preparing for this. He commanded that every cistern in Jerusalem be filled with water, every food warehouse be full, and the armories stocked with shields, spears, bows, tens of thousands of arrows, sling stones, and much more. But when Sennacherib came and surrounded Jerusalem, Hezekiah realized that his best preparations weren't enough. The Assyrian army numbered in the hundreds of thousands. Hezekiah's force couldn't have exceeded 20,000. It became obvious that he didn't have a chance. Even though Jerusalem's double walls were the strongest in Palestine, they couldn't stop Sennacherib. The ancient records record that Hezekiah prayed to the God who had created heaven and earth. He appealed to his God to save Jerusalem. Mysteriously, that night, 185,000 men died while they slept. In the morning, when Sennacherib realized what had happened, he retreated in terror with his remaining armies. Hezekiah and Judah were free at last.
Wow, that's quite a story, and that's a real story from a long, long time ago.
Right.
Okay, so here we go, and you're free for a few minutes, at least. Yeah, isn't that something? This is a story from a long, long time ago. In fact, let's go now to the first slide. Today's story comes from 2,800 years ago. 2,800 years ago. You say, whoops, that's a long, long time ago. How do we know it's true? Well, the Christian Bible, it's a story in the Christian Bible, 是基督教的圣经都写了. But the records of the story and archaeology confirms it. So you have the story in the Bible, but, oh, there's a new word, archaeology. Archaeology. That means 考古学,证明它. So this is a real story. Now, I must tell you that there are some names of people and places. You say, oh my, how am I going to remember all of that? Well, not so bad. We'll just tell you the most important ones. I want you to listen to this story because there's new vocabulary. 肯定会学到一些新的生字. And these words are important for you. Okay, so we go on. Hezekiah, that's the name of a king. If you really want to know his Chinese name, his name is Xixijia, but we just call him Hezi for short, I guess. Maybe. Hezekiah was king of a little Palestinian country, 小小的巴勒斯坦, Palestinian 国家, and the name of it was Yoda. That's the name of the country. It's the name of the country, okay, Yoda. You don't have to remember a lot of these names, but you do need to know a few of them, like Hezekiah. And like all people of that time, he wanted freedom from the Assyrian Empire. Okay? 在那时代，最强的国家是亚述国. Okay? In this case, 亚述帝国. Okay? The Assyrian Empire. And everybody wanted to be free. They wanted freedom. They didn't like the Assyrians. So, let's go on. Assyria's capital lay 400 miles north of Judah. Okay, so 亚述国的这个首都, okay, was 400 miles north of Judah. North. So miles, how many kilometers would that be? It'll be 600 and maybe 50 kilometers, 650 kilometers, 600 miles. 在这个犹大国的北边. Going on. Assyria's king died in a battle with Babylon. 亚述国的国王跟巴比伦打仗的时候就被打死了. Okay, so this is the background. This is the background. And Hezekiah hoped that his son would be weak. So he hoped that the king's son would be weak. And then, of course, why? He can be free. Free at last, right? That's the whole story, is about gaining your freedom, fighting for freedom. Going on. So he rebelled. Rebelled, 反抗. Okay, 反抗亚述国. He rebelled. He didn't do what they wanted him to do. Okay? And he stopped sending the required yearly tax. Of course, we all know what tax is. You know what tax is? 税. Okay? 税 and yearly tax. Now, kings required 就命令别的国家给税. What kind of tax? Well, I just learned this. It's called, in Chinese, we say 年贡. That is a yearly tax. You just think of it tax, 税. Once a year, he had to pay money to Assyria. So he stopped. He said, nope, not going to do it anymore. Not going to send you any more money. Going on. to test now, to test how strong he was. So, if you rebel, you know that the country is not going to be happy. So, to test how strong he was, Hezekiah, what did he do? He decided to go to war 跟一个 neighboring country 这个邻居的 or 邻国 neighboring country. So he's going to go to war. 他要跟他们战争. You see, I'm going to see how strong I am. Going on. It was a short war. 幸亏, okay? Good news. Fortunately, it was a short war, and Hezekiah returned victorious. That means he returned home, victor. 他得胜仗. Okay, he is victorious. Hezekiah was feeling confident. So if you win in a war, or if you win a game, 打比赛, 打球, and you win, how do you feel? Confident. Hezekiah was feeling 感到. Well, what is confidence? Confidence is trusting yourself or trusting your country. 自信心, trusting yourself, or to trust your country and your strength. So he was very confident. But Sennacherib, the new king, this is the son now. Remember, this is the son. His name is Sennacherib. That's a funny name, isn't it? Sennacherib. Whoa, you make 差一点的这个舌头就抽筋了啊 Sennacherib. Okay, but Sennacherib, the new king of Assyria, 亚述国的新的王，反而 see, he was hoping that the new king would be weak, became one of its most powerful kings. 变成亚述国最强的 powerful 国王. So what Hezekiah was hoping did not happen, and the new king is a very powerful king. Going on. In one of his first campaigns. Okay, now a campaign. Oh, there are many different translations for campaign. But here we're talking about a campaign in a war. 战争的一个 campaign. So how would you say that? Something like 战役. Okay, a campaign. So in the first time that he goes out to go to war, okay, this is the new king. So he's going to go to war. 他要去跟人家打仗. He led his army. Oh, okay. He led his what kind of army? Monstrous army. Now, monstrous is an interesting word. A monster 是一个怪物，可怕的一个怪物。But when you use monstrous, it comes from monster. When you use monstrous, it simply means 庞大的，很可怕的. Okay? Means big and fearful. Okay? So he led his big and fearful army. Okay? south toward Judah. So now, what is he trying to do? He is leaving the north. He's going south toward Judah, 要向这个犹大国这个跑。Okay, but and his capital and its capital Jerusalem， 犹大国的这个首都是名叫 Jerusalem， 耶路撒冷。Okay, Jerusalem. Even today, the Jerusalem still exists. Okay, 在巴勒斯坦还是有一个耶路撒冷。Okay, many years. But this is how many years ago? How many? 2800 2800年以前的事。Okay, going on. He destroyed every nation in his path. Okay, we just do that. 沿途 in his path， 他毁灭所有的国家。Okay, in his path， 沿途。That means as he's going along, he's destroying all of these. Okay, and leaving Judah with no outside help. In this case, leaving 这个变成或成为 or 结果呢 Judah has no outside help. 没有额外的帮助。See, during ancient times, 古时代 small countries banded together. 他们会一起合作 band together. But now there are no other countries because Sennacherib has destroyed them all. Now, what did he intend to do? Intend. To intend means 他的意思，他的思想，他的计划。To intend, to do something. What did he intended to do? To force Hezekiah to pay the tax. 要强迫 Hezekiah 要付这个年贡。那个年税 okay? Again, see, he stopped. Hezekiah had stopped, you see. So now he's going to force him to do this. Going on. And if Hezekiah wouldn't pay, 万一他不愿意付这个年贡 okay? He'd replace him with another king. 用另外一个王取代他。Okay. In other words, I'll force you. Well, probably he would kill him, and just put another king there. Or he would destroy Jerusalem altogether. Now, I want to stop here just for a second because this altogether sometimes has many, well, I'm not sure many meanings, but in this case, altogether, 或他会彻底 altogether, 彻底 completely 彻底毁灭耶路撒冷，彻底 altogether. English is so hard, isn't it? Now, of course, I could say English is hard. For me, Chinese is hard. 中文也不是很简单呐。Okay, so we're moving on. Going on. Hezekiah had been preparing for this. Now, Hezekiah had been preparing. 他已经老早已经开始准备。He commanded 他命令 that every cistern 水池 okay, every cistern in Jerusalem to be filled with water. 装满了满满的水。Every food warehouse 仓库 is a warehouse 那个仓库这个谷仓food warehouse or 粮仓is going to be full of food. Going on. And the armories, okay, what is an armory? 兵器库. That's where you put all of your army stuff. Were stocked, 装满了, okay, with shields, 盾牌, spears, 矛, bows, 弓, and tens of thousands, 这个千万个尖 arrows, and sling stones. Stones 是石头. What is a sling? Have you ever heard of a sling? When I was a little boy, I did the thing with the sling. Boy, that sounds poetic, does it? I did the thing with the sling. 弹弓啊. Okay, so they had stones. And they had much more going on. But when Sennacherib surrounded Jerusalem, 当 Sennacherib 围绕着耶路撒冷的时候 Hezekiah realized 意识到 what? That his best preparations 他最好的准备 not enough 还是不够 going on. The Assyrian army numbered in the hundreds of thousands 几十万个 hundreds of thousands, okay, lots and lots of people. And Hezekiah's force, 他的 force, his army, okay, couldn't have exceeded 20,000, 就2万. So you have 2万 and hundreds of thousands. Whoa, 不平. Okay, it's not balanced. Things look bad. 看起来很不好. Going on. It became obvious 变成很明显的事 that he didn't have as a 根本没有生存的机会. He would be killed, he would be destroyed, 根本都没有机会大生长. Going on. Even though Jerusalem's double walls were the strongest in Palestine, 虽然这个耶路撒冷的 double walls 双城墙 did I get that right? Yep. Were the strongest 巴勒斯坦最强的 but they couldn't stop Sennacherib 没有办法阻挡这个 Sennacherib or in other words Sennacherib would win for sure he would win. Going on, the ancient records record that Hezekiah prayed to God. 所以在这时候，我相信每一个国家是一样，但是呢 Hezekiah 是信天上的上帝 and he prayed to God 上帝祷告是哪一个神？是创造天地的神 He appealed to 求他的神救耶路撒冷 Going on. Mysteriously. 很神奇的 mysteriously. There's no way of explaining it. It just, it's surprising. But that night, 185,000 men died while they slept. 当他们睡觉的时候，185000个人就死了。Wow! What a miracle! 肯定是一个奇迹，是一个神迹啊。Going on, in the morning, when Sennacherib realized what had happened, 当他意识到、明白所发生的事情是什么 ，he retreated in terror with his remaining armies. 生下来，他和他生下来的 armies， 这个军队 ，so they probably said retreated， 撤军 ，OK， 撤退 retreat 撤退，不撤军，in terror。What is terror？ 害怕的，就这个撤退 going on. Hezekiah, this is the end. Hezekiah and Judah were free at last. 终于 Hezekiah 和犹大国是获得自由。Wow, you have to get a Christian Bible to figure out all the details, because I just told the simple story because we're learning English. But if you have questions, you could write an email to me. So let's take a look at our email address. Our email address is theoldprinciple, 老校长, theoldprinciple@gmail.com. 或者你也可以看我们的网站 theoldprinciple.org. Hope you enjoyed studying with us, and join us again next time.